What's going on, everybody? Football is here. Football is here. We just had Thursday Night Football just a couple nights ago, and now we're rolling into Sunday slate of games. Monday Night Football also coming up. So I'm going to be talking about a couple starts and sits for this week, help you prepare for those lineups. And if you play in a DFS format as well, maybe throw these guys in your lineup. I'm Hutchinson Brown for Football Guys. I'm at HutchinsonB_FF on Twitter. Before I get to this video, make sure you all subscribe to that Football Guys YouTube channel and click that notification bell so you'll be notified every single time a new video does drop on this awesome YouTube channel. So without further ado, let's jump straight in. And with the starts, we'll start off with the starts this week, with the positives. For the first start, I want to talk about a wide receiver who there's injuries around him, and he is set up for a massive week one. It is Marquis Brown going up against the Kansas City Chiefs this week. I mean, there's probably no Zach Ertz, and if there is Zach Ertz, he's probably going to be limited. Rondale Moore looks like he's going to be limited, might miss the game. DeAndre Hopkins, as we know, is suspended for 6 games. Marquis Brown is the clear-cut #1 option right now. I mean, he was the #1 option to begin, but it's even more clear now with all the injuries around him. And you got Kyler Murray, that Kyler Murray, Marquis Brown connection from college. You're up against the Chiefs defense here, who just lost Tyrann Mathieu this offseason. Weren't amazing last season on the defensive back unit last year with Tyrann Mathieu. Now without him, they might struggle a little bit more. I wouldn't be surprised to see Marquis Brown score multiple touchdowns this week, and he's priced outside the top 15 in most DFS formats. You know, when you look at wide receiver pricing, he is an absolute smash play. If you're looking at your matchups this week in fantasy and you see Marquis Brown on the other side, you better be shivering in your boots. Marquis Brown is going to go off this week. The second start I want to talk about is a guy that's not as obvious, but I see this tight end in a high-scoring game in a great offense. I see some opportunity here for him to get in the end zone. I'm talking about tight end Gerald Everett of the Los Angeles Chargers. If you haven't seen me on Twitter or, just around in the fantasy football industry, you all know I'm a bit of a Gerald Everett truther. Over the past couple years, I have liked Gerald Everett. And on the Chargers, I do like Gerald Everett, and especially this week, going up against a weak Las Vegas Raiders defense. This is going to be a high-scoring game with a lot of points up on the board for at least the Chargers side, because this Raiders defense is very weak. Justin Herbert's a great quarterback. This is just set up for a lot of touchdowns to be scored. The scoreboard is going to be lit up. And if Gerald Everett can jump in the end zone once, that's a heck of a week for a tight end. You can get him to double digits. That's a good week for a tight end. And I think Gerald Everett on the waiver wire in a lot of leagues, there's not many tight ends that you could say are in this good of an offense with this good of a quarterback with this good of a matchup in front of them. So I like Gerald Everett. If he's on your bench and you don't like your starter, maybe you had Zach Ertz, throw in Gerald Everett. Maybe if George Kittle's out this week and you have Gerald Everett on your bench, throw in Gerald Everett. But wherever Gerald Everett is he on your waiver wire or he's on your bench, consider starting him this week. So now let's move to the benches. We've got 2 players here that I really don't want you starting this week. Both are ironically running backs. So the running back I really don't want you to start this week, the one of them, I'm going to be talking about James Robinson here. You're probably not going to start him. You're probably not considering it, and I understand that. But I've seen tweets. I've seen people, on Twitter go around saying, this is where James Robinson established himself. This is where he does it. I mean, a couple years ago, he was a stud. He was that guy. And, off the Achilles, this is where he establishes himself again as that stud running back. He's going to prove people wrong. This is not the week to bet on that. Week 1, off an Achilles injury. He's come back a little earlier than expected. I mean, we just saw what happened with Cam Akers on Thursday Night Football. I mean, he got 3 touches for 0 yards. James Robinson is not set up for success here. I mean, going against a Washington Commanders defense who, when healthy, have a pretty stacked defensive line. I mean, you got a pretty you got some big guys in that defensive line. That's going to be a tough defense to run up against. James Robinson is not set up for a great week 1, and you should not be starting him. I know you want to, hype up James Robinson, just maybe he gets back to that old self. That's not what you want to bet on this week. And then the second running back I want you to bench this week, this is a player that, he's an older guy now. He's been a stud before. This week, though, I don't see him being too good. I mean, I have low expectations for this guy this year overall, but especially this week. It's Ezekiel Elliott, running back of the Dallas Cowboys, going against the Buccaneers this week. This is not a matchup you want to bet on for Zeke Elliott. No. This is just not something you want to bet on for Zeke Elliott. I mean, last year he played the Bucs week 1. He scored like 6 fantasy points. I mean, he did absolutely nothing. And I expect a similar outcome this week. To be honest with you, like, Dak Prescott's dealing with a bit of an injury right now. And this Cowboys offensive line going through a lot of changes this offseason. And this Bucs defense is absolutely stacked on the defensive line. I mean, they did lose some pieces on defense this offseason, but they are still stacked on the defensive line. They are going to stop the run game. And Zeke, I expect him to be extremely inefficient with the running game. I expect this Cowboys offense, as a result, to be more inefficient and slow this week. So I don't want to bet on Ezekiel Elliott this week. So that's going to be it for the starts and the sits for this week for the Sunday slate. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to that Football Guys YouTube channel and click that notification bell so you'll be notified every single time a new video drops on this awesome YouTube channel. I'm Hutchinson Brown from Football Guys. I'm at HutchinsonB_FF on Twitter. We'll see you all next week.